Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to round 3 of Super Rugby Next Gen in 2026. It's the inaugural tournament, and the Queensland Reds can walk away with the inaugural title should they pick up a win in Perth today. But standing in their way are a Western Force team that are so unpredictable. They go from cellar dwellers to right on top. They pulled off an amazing win over the Brumbies last week, and they can be the stumbling block for this Queensland side. Lockie Gray in the commentary box today. Alongside me is former Reds and Wallaby captain Liam Wright. We are in for an absolute banger today, Liam.
Oh, we certainly are. If you'd have asked about this game a week ago, we'd have said it's all done, write the card, nothing happening here. But the Force have really turned it around, and that's what you want to see in these short competitions. Growth week to week.
It's just been incredible. Just to put this in perspective, the Force were beaten by 92 points by the Waratahs, and they have somehow put themselves in a position where they can still take out the tournament. It is unlikely, but here's what we're facing over this final round. Force v Reds today at Kingsway, out at Wanneroo. Shout out to your Roodogs there. And then tomorrow, the Tars and the Brumbies. But the Tars' fate is out of their hands if the Reds pick up the win today. It's coming off the back of that amazing interstate clash last week. You were on that call. Oh, what a game at Ballymore that was.
It was a great game. The rain was pouring, but the Reds really were clinical. The Tars showed up, mind you. They didn't roll over. Lots of good stuff happening in the forwards, in the backs. No one told the players about the weather happening around. It was a really exciting game.
So just to recap that round 2 for you, the Reds 33 defeated the Waratahs 26, the Force 32 defeated the Brumbies, and here is the Western Force side. Not a lot of changes from that side that pipped the Ponies last week. Jackson Bridges comes into the side from the bench at 6. He did a fantastic job in the back end of that game. We've got a new 10 as well. Mac Wrigley comes in. He's the third 10 in as many weeks. Evan Hooper and Fatani Tavake reprised their centre pairing. Now Penny Nangau's got a chance to redeem himself. He's been picked back on that left wing, and a new face in the back line wrong as Miguel DeLange has come across in the under-20s.
Impact that game, and especially behind a strong forward pack, which we saw last week.
Super exciting. Coached by Jeremy Thrush, who's no doubt had one of the great sprays coming off the back of round 1 into round 2. But facing this Western Force team, this is a Red side that is absolutely chock-a-block with talent. Liam Wright, a few familiar faces for you too.
Oh, it sure is, and they know that the future of this competition's all in their hands. The big ones coming in that forward pack are Charlie Brosnan, who gets his start this week, and the captain, Tom Robertson. Both guys who've had a lot of super experience. And the big ones as well, Dre Pacquiao, who played number 10 last week and did an excellent job, has moved into number 12 in the place of Trayvon Pritchard, who's been electric this competition. And Finn Mackay is certainly one to watch. He got his Super Rugby debut last week. Going to be better for the minutes, and just a really, really exciting prospect at the future of Queensland rugby there.
It's pretty incredible, right? Trayvon Pritchard's probably been the star of this next gen, and you bring in Dre Pacquiao, who has stacks of Super Rugby Pacific experience. It's terrifying stuff to roll in for the centre pairings there, especially alongside Frankie Goldsborough, who's got his own Super Rugby caps. But so exciting to see Super Rugby Next Gen. The pickup has been fantastic from the fans, and the quality of game too, Wrongs, has been phenomenal.
Oh, it has. You haven't seen any teams really... they haven't been holding anything back. Despite the weather in some games, despite the scorelines blowing out, they're still ready to go and play and put everything out there. Obviously, trying to get selections into that Aussie 20s camp in early April, but then as well, and probably what we've seen more in this Force team, a couple older guys who are still there, still showing in this competition that they deserve spots and deserve recognition in this Australian rugby scene.
That's right, it's next gen, and it is targeted around the 20s, but we want to make sure that these games are hyper competitive, and they have been. You've seen the changes, particularly as you mentioned, from the Force bringing so much grunt, and it's a great opportunity, particularly for the younger boys, that we know that there's so many under 20s in this Queensland side to front up in the physical stakes, and no better person to do that than number 7 for the Queensland Reds. Ilan Kluter out of East is a wing turn flanker, a judo champion. He is an absolute superstar in the making, and certainly someone that can bring the physicality.
Yeah, he's one of those players you just need to have on the field. We saw him get busy around the breakdown. He got a great turnover last week, which saved the back of a line break. And he's just kind of the glue around this Queensland forward pack. There's probably a lot more flashy players, but he does the hard stuff. He does the work. And that's exactly what you want to see from not only a judo champion and a really strong player, but you're number 7.
And another person that brought the physicality, number 12, Evan Hooper for the Western Force. Such an interesting yarn. I remember our first call during round 1, Wrongers, we were talking about this bloke coming out of South Australia. Interesting pathway, but he has rocketed over the past fortnight. 3 line break assists and a line break last week against the Brumbies. Leaps and bounds.
And sometimes that's what it takes. Sometimes you've got to take your lashes, you've got to earn it, you've got to go back, review, see where you can improve and get better, and that's the purpose of this competition.
So Jordan Kaminsky gets us underway here at Wanneroo. It is the Reds taking on the Western Force in round 3 of Super Rugby Next Gen, and the Queenslanders have made good of their first restart, securing possession there. It was Kenneth Harris coming back into the side, and Alfie Bowman takes to the skies straight away, high and hanging, but it's been well picked up at the back by the Force. Strong surging run there over the halfway line. It's good pressure early from the boys in blue, but the counter-up comes hard. And the Reds have come away with that. There's Kluter straight into the mix as the judo champion. Finn Mackay goes into halfback, and immediately the Reds want to challenge this blindside Kingsley ace. Certainly one that can do so. Now charging for Charlie Brosnan's well met. Bounces out of the first and the second. That's a great run from the brothers Lock. And they want to use this quick ball. Lovely hands to Grenfell, who pops it out the back. Here's Frankie Goldsborough storming upfield to within 5. He's within 2. The teammates come and they swarm him over. He won't be held up. It looks like they're just short of the line, but the Reds are knocking on the door. Finn Mackay throws the cut, and it's absolute money for Nick Liner. Starts don't come much better, Liam Wright.
Oh, and their captain, Tom Robinson, spoke about that during the week. That's the one thing they've needed to improve is their slow start from the first 2 games. And it happens straight away there. Kenneth Harris, what a counter-ruck. He gets in, gets under the body, shoulders under shoulders, forces the play. And then from there, look at the hands. John Grenfell, who's been revolutionary coming back from injury. Frankie Goldsborough powering through. But this is the class of that 9 and 10 pairing. Alfie Bowman knows the ball's not held up, gets the ball to Finn Mackay. And all it takes is a beautiful long pass there. You're never going to stop him. And there, Nick Liner gets another try.
Yeah, Nick Liner's been in the score sheet recently, hasn't he? A try last week, 4 from 5 off the tee. But put that down to the beautiful work of John Grenfell, Northern Territory product, out of Palmerston Crocs, so shout out to him. And he's made waves since pushing his way into this Queensland system. Gee, how about that pass from Finn Mackay too?
Oh, brilliant. Passes all round that are just doing the right thing. You could see them go to that blindside. Kingsley Ace getting a nice involvement early. Was impressed with his work, probably more on the defensive end last week, where we know him as a bullocking ball runner.
And there you see on the screen Nick Liner popping over the extras. So it is the Queensland Reds 7 with the early lead over the host Western Force. As we look back at this replay, soft buttery hands there from Kenneth Harris to Grenfell, who pops it out the back door to Goldsborough. And just the work to take 3 defenders out of the mix, create space out to their right, and it was just easy as you like. As we return to live pitches, that one's gone out on the full. So another mistake compounding for the Force there, and the Reds with all the early momentum, Wrongers.
Yeah, they'll be happy with that. It's a tough ask for the Force after a start like that, where they had a really nice carry from their winger off the kick receipt, and then to put it out after succeeding points, not ideal. But the other point to mention there on that try is the unseen clean-out. So Frankie Goldsborough, that carry gets right close to the line. Angus Kelly, the number 8. Kenneth Harris backing up again. Make sure he gets to ground. Make sure he gets to ground as well before that try line so it doesn't get held up in a goal line dropout. Those are the things that create tries and try to win your tournaments like this.
So now a golden opportunity for the Queensland Reds off this restart. They'll go quickly off the half arm too. Bowman wants to play left, and he immediately finds Dre Parkeho, who's taken down in a good 2-man tackle towards the 10 metre, but the high tackle advantage will be paid. So playing with house money are the Queensland Reds. Ace storming up over the line, and immediately soft hands out the back here for Tom Howard, who gets back off the deck and goes again. It's a good run from Tommy Howard. Goldsborough into first receiver as the Reds muscle towards the 22, but that's a good strong hit from Fatani Tavake over the top to stall a bit of momentum. Mackay wants a runner, finds one in Robinson, who's immediately wrestled back to ground, and the Reds want to keep this tempo up. Bowman wants to play left again. Ace, so strong in contact, shakes the first and the second. He's still going Kingsley Ace, and he pops it out the back, but he's given advantage to his son ball runner, Kingsley Ace.
That was incredible. He just manages to stay on his feet. He's strong, keeps the ball alive as well. Watch here as well on the inside. Kenneth Harris probably goes a bit far, but he helps just by taking off one of those would-be tacklers away. Same on the outside there by Tom Howard it was. just allows that runner to keep going. And Kingsley knows how to make the most of momentum.
That's outrageous. That's 4 defenders that he's just beaten in that run. I reckon he's almost close to 6 or 7 for the start of this game as the Reds now look to pile on the pain from close range. Their first set-piece opportunity, and skipper Tom Robinson, who soars up high. Grenfell scored a try last week, and he's marshalling the pack as they look to set and splinter this Western Force maul. Grenfell wants to break off, and he does so on the open side. He's dragged down eventually. No, he cunts the legs. Gets to within a metre. So the Reds hunting their second try, and Alfie Bowman gets there. No, it's not Alfie Bowman. Who's popped up with the ball
Levi
there?
Slater.
Oh, big Levi.
And haven't we seen that all competition? Tight head props, putting up 1 metre behind the line and ready to go and score that try.
Well, he's the biggest halfback I've ever seen. The pick and drive, and all from the good vision and the good eyes off this maul. What have the Reds done well here, Rongers?
Well, they've done well to just keep the ball alive. So that maul that's been so dangerous over the last few weeks, the beauty of it is they get the ball to the back. They allow John Grenfell to make the choice. You can see the backs as well fold to that blind side, which just opens up that run for him. And from there, it's just easy pickings for Levi Slater. You're never going to beat a tight head prop pretty much 1 metre out one-on-one.
Yeah, and he's just got the height to get underneath Jackson Bridges too. He's a tall, rangy fella, the 4'6", and I don't think Levi Slater is going to have too much trouble from close range, as we see.
No, he wasn't. But one thing the Force will be happy with there is that maul defence. You know, to keep a team like the Reds out. We saw them score a hat-trick of tries against the Brumbies. It worked well against the Tars as well. You can just see them going to work. Charlie Brosnan on this close side here does a great job now of taking out 2 Force players, which could open that door. Usually allows that maul to keep going, but the use it call coming from the ref. And John Grenfell just doing enough time to buy his cleaners and a quick pick.
So, a blistering start from the Queensland Reds here. They lead the Force 14-0, 6.5 minutes gone, and for the first time in this game, Rongers, we're going to see the Force finally with possession after the Reds clear that restart to the side. Their first chance to use the pill, and a good chance now for Luke Megson, who's been impressive out of Sykes. It's his 3rd consecutive start for the Force, and it's great to see that consistency in lineup through Super Rugby Next Gen. So, what can the hosts do with their first use of the putty? Max Johnson's up, flies high, and they'll attack into midfield. Good hands, and there's Evan Hooper off the back of a short ball from his skipper, Luke Holt-Brown. They want to play quickly, and they'll have advantage too. So, can the Western Force chance their arm here? Wrestled back to the ground. And they'll go again. Sniping run through Luke Aiken. Out of the Sunshine Coast has come across and is chasing his fortune out in the Golden West. But so far the Reds defence muscling up well. Aiken goes digging. Finds Crew, who plays out the back, and the little grub is sharp from Wrigley. It's not a bad option. Pin the Reds back down in their 22.
Yeah, great decision there. That defensive line of managed to get set. A couple good defensive tackles. Just a good way to put him back. Knowing they had the advantage as well, take the option, put him on the back foot, keep that backfield aware as well.
There's something we haven't seen from the Force as a short kicking game. Justin Landman was playing in the 10 jersey last week, and Mac Wrigley, the new man in. Left foot option as well, which is new, so all kinds of opportunities for the Force to exploit off the attacking kick as well. So, not quite the touch finder we would have liked. It looks like the wind's really picking up there. We can hear it on our effects mic too.
Plenty of wind. We can see the Tongan flag in the background flying high and proud. But going to make it hard to get in and out of your own zone, so using the ball effectively will be important.
And effectively taken by Crew this time. So the Force punching into the 22. Hooper is the first man in the carry, but Klutter's over that. Call is no from the referee. So Fatani Tavake gets a chance to bounce out of a few, and bounce he does. Muscling up in defence this time is Brosnan, who wants to hold up that runner, but the Force still have it. Johnson plays at the back. Hooper. Now here's Nangau, who's so quick. They don't want to give him space, and they manage to shut it down, but they've got them backpedaling now to the Force. Wrigley plays short. It is well picked up there. Finn Mackay with soft hands to snuff out the danger. The Reds now looking to recover from inside their 22. Harris with a settling carry. And just the pace starting to be taken out of this game. The Reds want to manage this and secure a clean exit. Bowman says, I'll do it myself. Peels off a couple, but you call that a net game for the Force.
Yeah, and you can see just the impact that that's going to have. If the Force can play in the right areas, they're putting those little kicks in behind. Very hard for guys like Bowman and Mackay to exit with this wind. A much better and composed start from the force. They're actually using that ball in attack quite nicely, looking promising.
Good shape so far in attack, but immediately this one's picked off. It's a great hop from Tom Robinson, the skipper, to secure that for his side. So the Reds with a chance to counterpunch from deep in their own half. Gluter up over his 10-metre line. Hard man to handle. Parker out the back. Mackay plays short. And Liner finds a soft shoulder. They'll play with advantage now. This is promising for Queensland as they look to test the edges of this Western Force defence. No, we'll take the penalty.
We had 14 offside. Back on the 10.
And it's just impressive the way the Reds are playing with that tempo and with that speed. Finn Mackay, Dre Pakeo, just getting that ball to where it needs to go on that phase. You can see sometimes, and especially at this age group, where you wait to see the space and call it on that next phase. But Finn Mackay especially is just getting that ball flashing out the back and going to it. Hence why they're catching the Force members offside.
Well, you mentioned it last week too with Dre Pakaho playing in the 10 role. It's not typically where we'd find him, but he's showing that he can play that playmaking and that distributing role as well as the physicality we've seen in Super Rugby Pacific.
Yeah, well, he's got plenty of time at outside centre in Super Rugby Pacific. He's probably more naturally a 12 as well, but he slots in at 10. And the good thing about this Reds attack is that anyone in that back line can spot into that position and call that play.
As this one's gone over the top, but it's been cleaned up by Tom Robinson, who's been a dab hand these first 10 minutes at the line out. So the Reds want to play with power and pace. Levi Slater has both, and he gets them towards the 22. Parkaho now looking to get the arm through for Goldsborough, but he's shut down by the Sea of Blue. Mackay plays out the back. Tom Howard wants a wide runner. It's Nick Liner bouncing off the right foot into the 22. They're making steady progress of the Queensland Reds. Hunting their third try. They lead 14-0. 11 and a half minutes gone. Finn Mackay on the left foot. There's space out wide. Nangau misses it. And Tom Robinson cashes in. Oh, he makes it look so easy, Finn Mackay.
Straight into the bread basket. That was a great play. I don't think they had the advantage there either, Lockie. So that is just ready to play. Take the space, put it where it needs to go. As we've said, all the things before, but a lot more on the line there. So that's an incredible and a great catch there from Tom Robinson.
Well, he's read that like a book, Tom Robinson. Penny Nangau thought the flying winger was going to get up in the hops as we see on the replay. He's just misjudged it. And Tom Robinson, without a finger laid on him, puts it under the sticks for 7 points. That absolutely stings for the Western Force.
Yeah, that hurts. They had a pretty good defensive set, a couple good attacking sets, but that's all it takes is a couple penalties, march you right up the field, and then the danger in this red side. Tom Robinson doing exactly what they ask a lot of back rowers to do these times, is hold the edge, spread the attack, spread the defence, and if they don't match, that's when that kick option's really on.
Well, Finn Mackay, we saw him at his Super Rugby Pacific debut in round 1 against the Tars. Made his Queensland debut against the Wild Knights last year, and he comes back to Next Gen, and he puts it on a dime for his skipper out wide. Wonderful to see this kind of quality in Super Rugby Next Gen as the Force restart goes deep. And Dre Parker says, I want to return this with interest. Takes 2 to bring him down outside of his 22. The Reds, 21, lead the Force, yet to score after 13 minutes. It's been a dominant start from the unbeaten Queenslanders as Bowman goes digging. Referee's call to play it quickly, and shifted he does, but a chance to counterpunch now for the Force. They have men about here's Delange into the side for the first time. We're yet to see the former ball getter go, and it's because of pressure plays like that. Huge from Milan Kluter.
Yeah, and we spoke about that before the game. He pops up at the right time. He's good on that defensive breakdown. Got just enough of a lift of that to show the referee that he was in early. Tackler had rolled away, which is something that the Force have been caught for a few times already, and pinged at the breakdown. That's a great turnover.
We hear so much these days about hybrid players, Rongers, and I think a player like Kluter, who's gone from wing to flanker in the space of a season, is pretty good sign that this is becoming more commonplace in rugby.
Oh, it sure is. Well, you see wingers the size of flankers these days and vice versa. As long as you've got the skills, the speed and the heart, guys like Kluter find a way into that team because they're irreplaceable.
So it's a big play and it gets them towards the 22. They are running hot, are the Queensland Reds, and Parkeho, as we've seen him so often in Super Rugby Pacific, goes straight into the teeth of the defence, as does Grenfell, who scored earlier. Harris has been very busy in his early exchanges. And again, the Reds seem to make quick meters. Goldsborough tumbles and turns out of that tackle. As the force start to muscle up. We're seeing the line speed start to pick up from the force, particularly on the outside, but it creates opportunities inside for players like Finn Mackay. Steps back in, keeps the pillars and the posts honest. Now Pakaho plays out back. Howard wants to straighten up for Liner, who gets rid of 2, gets rid of 3. So elusive, Nick Liner. As Bowman wants to keep the intensity up. Here comes Pakaho. That's 8 phases now for the Reds. They're looking busy. Grenfell, his second carry of the passage. The Reds hunting their 4th try. Mackay plays out the back. Here's Nick Liner, and that pass quite hasn't hit. And it trickles out. So, a big test for the Force, and they pass this one.
Yeah, and they survived that well. You could see just those shooters coming up. Johan Beecroft on that first wing coming out and shutting down Frankie Goldsborough. Then they're forcing them back inside, which is perfect if you've got those forwards hunting high, working hard on that inside, and then it forces plays like this. That's well done by the Western Force Next Gen squad, surviving that, and they'll want to take that defence further up the field as well.
It was a big tackle there from Johan Beecroft. Had to be made because you don't want to give Frankie Goldsborough space. And you know what, Beecroft's been very impressive for the Western Force so far. The man in jersey 11. A try and a try assist against the Brumbies. He really took his opportunities after missing out in the first game. So great to see the Westerners and their next crop of rising stars. Bit of attention here for Maxie Johnson. And looks like we'll have a sub here for the Western Force. We're ticking towards probably a water break to around 20-minute mark, which is good to see. And hopefully Maxie Johnson's all right there. Looks like it's been for a head knock. So expecting a bit of change now. We're likely to see Ollie McGinnity come onto the field in jersey 19 for the Western Force. Who's featured in every game off the pine, but will get a bit more opportunity now. So far, so good for the Reds. The Force still camped down in their 22. What do they need to do to get back into this game, Rongers?
They just need to stick to the simplicity of it, I think. They're probably going to try and force with the scoreboard, to force a few of those lucky passes, to try and get those one-off isolated runs. And we saw before when you've got guys like Kluter, and even just owning your own set piece is what gets you back into the game. It's not going to be 3-try effort. You just need one bit at a time.
That's a big play there from Kenneth Harris to get up and steal that one. So the line-out issues continue for the Force. The Reds have been dominant there, and now they will look to cash in. Knocking on the door of the 22. Mackay gets his toes over the paint and surges forward, but that's stripped well by the Force. Gee, it was a nice play there from Nate Gallagher to get that peel, but they'll come back for the penalty.
Number 8, offside.
So referee Jordan Kaminsky saying, not today, Nate.
Yeah, on the
Pushing
5,
up a little too quickly. And the Reds with prime opportunity now. They will plug this corner, and why wouldn't you when the line-out's going so well?
Exactly. I dare say we'll see another maul effort here, but that's what we're talking about with the Force. If they want to find their way back into this game on the offensive side, their set piece really needs to function, especially that line-out. That's where you get most of your opportunities to get back into the game. And then defensively, it's just these penalties. Spoke about the offsides being drawn by the tempo of the Reds team, but also the high tackles, the little ill disciplines that can creep into your game when you're chasing it.
It's a huge loss losing Max Johnson. He's been the rock of their set piece, and the Reds will look to cash in here ruthlessly. They've managed to shift it back, and you can see Grenfell. He's got Ace behind him, and Ace is so dangerous from close range. Backpedaling towards the line is Big Kingsley, and now they'll attack from within the 5. Driving forward now is Harris, who gets very close indeed. Bowman goes digging. They want to go the other way, though. Can the Force keep them out here? 17 down. 21-0. The Reds about to lay siege, and here comes Kingsley. House money. They're calling for the try, and the try will be given. Big Kingsley ace. Too strong from close range, Rongers.
And it was bound to be one of them. The forwards got a little bit of white line fever there, but they secured the breakdown each time. We're ready to go. Kingsley probably choosing the right opportunity of when to bounce back to that blind side. And I think we've just seen a yellow card there as well, Lockie. We heard offside in front of the line. Cynical was the words our ref Jordan Kaminsky used. Be interested to see who's copped it there.
Yeah, insult to injury. They just had too much pressure. It all comes down to that set piece, right? You mentioned before, Wrong, is you've got to nail your set piece, especially inside your defensive 22, but it's been picked off. It's an area the Reds have been so dominant so far in this game, and it just compounds. So waiting to get confirmation of the player that has gone off with the yellow card, but That really does rub salt into the wound. 26-0 as we tick towards the 20-minute mark. And Nick Liner just hooks this one away to the left, but it's an imposing margin early.
Sure is. The Maul defence has been the one probably shining light of the Western Force Next Gen squad's game so far, but you then have to back it up, especially around the try line here. And another thing, if you're going to give away the try, you can't give away the yellow card too, especially when you're down like that. 14 men against a rampaging Red side is going to be hard to defend with.
Now it looks like it was Will Crew who's copped it too, which means that both starting locks are now out. Max Johnson with what looked like a head injury assessment before, and Will Crew shown the cheddar. So dangerous times, and Ace just got a little over-eager at the back of that one. Looked like a sneaky play off the back of the ruck, and Kaminski's not having a bar of it.
Yeah, he thought that's an easy way to get out of your half. Don't need the kick or anything like that. But so important when you're making those plays that there's no one behind you, no one bound to you. You've got to be behind the ball, as we heard our ref say.
So both his feet need to be behind the ball.
Both his feet need to be behind the ball. Great explanation. But this is the opportunity now for the Western Force Next Gen. Jeremy Thrush is their coach. He'll be very strong on their maul. We've seen how good their defence have been so far. Now we need to see it on attack.
So lots of pressure now on the shoulders of Ollie McGinnity and Jackson Bridges. Will be tasked with steering this line out. Megson finds McGinnity. It's a nice win, and it's an important win for the Force, who set strongly, and they managed to splinter this Red team. They roll forward towards the 5. How good's this from the Western Force? They continue to drive. They continue to push. They're within a metre now. Great pressure building from the hosts as they hunt their first try. In round 3 of Super Rugby Next Gen, they'll have advantage too. So Aiken plays wide for Tani Tavaka. He's scored a try in both games so far. Wouldn't he love a third? Knocking on the door now. Aiken wants his runners. Finds McGinnity. Gets them another inch closer. Playing out the back door was Holt Brown. Scrambling back as quickly. They'll come back for the advantage, but great signs from that rolling maul.
That was a great rolling maul. The Reds chucked up Tom Robinson. They're not really quite sure of the thinking behind that, especially when you've got a man up in the forwards. You think you just stay down, make sure that rolling maul defence is intact, and then that Force took full opportunity. When you get behind that jumping pod on the defence, you can just go for it. Unfortunately, it was their own man who brought it down. They did manage to eke that penalty out, and now they're going to go for the quick tap, which we love to see.
Big Joshy Smith. He goes from close range, and he's so strong, Josh Smith, but held up. Oh, we thought he got there. 8 caps for the junior ABs, 6 for the Western Force and Super last year. He's one of their most experienced players, but just gets turtled at the wrong time.
Yeah, and that's probably not the go with that that quick tap. You've got set move there. You've got that second and third phase planned. And with that new goal line dropout law, if you get held up, it just sends you back another 40, 50 metres.
Really has changed the way you approach the try line, shifting from a 5-metre attacking scrum to clearing all the way back to your halfway. But it also gives us opportunities like this to see players come off the back fence. Hooper says, I'll throw a long pill, and great feed from Bearcroft with a ball out the back. Oh, special stuff there from Johan, the Cottesloe kid, as Aiken plays short to his forwards, but it's been picked off. McGinnity couldn't hold it. And luckily, I think for the Force, it'll come back. 2 knock-ons. Playing dangerously and living dangerously.
Yeah, Megson attempting the little tip at the line, which is going to be important. The Reds' defence muscled up. We saw it against the Tars last week, where they get a lot of double-man tackles, able to slow that ruck, and then they can really set their defensive line. Those little tips will come important for the Force if they can make the right calls later on.
Gee, that was special from Bearcroft. Dancing out of 2 tackles, somehow got it around the back. Oh, that's what we love to see in Next Gen. Players expressing themselves on the big stage. And a chance now for the Reds pack to express themselves. They're marking up against 7 in the scrum, and they're missing both starting locks. It's so tough without the big men in the engine room here, Rongers.
It is, and only the second scrum of the game, I believe, which just shows how high tempo this has been.
And the Force muscle up as well, down a man, but the Reds play out the back. Pargaho's pass just gets grasped, but it's gone backwards, and the Force want to storm over the top of it. They managed to get there. Good pressure from Hooper to spark that counter-ruck, and now the Force want to try and find a seam in this red wall. Holt Brown calls for it and shuffles out of the first tackle. Scored a try last week, did Holt Brown, and short passing like that was their friend against the Brumbies. But Finn Mackay, the fly half goes fetcher, and that's another big breakdown turnover for the Reds.
Yeah, that's huge. When your fly half's getting over the ball like that, that's a real lift for your side. A great tackle there by Kingsley Ace. But the turnover first from the force was exactly what you want to see. That's that short passing game you need to see from them, but just too slow into the ruck. Megson getting taken out after the pass. And Finn Mackay right over that. Taking lessons from Ilan Kluter, no doubt.
Survives 2 cleaners as well. It's great body position, and everyone's a fetcher these days, right? Wrong as it's
They
just
sure
part of the core skills of the game. So well done there to Finn Mackay. He's stuck in that logjam of 10s at Queensland, but Next Gen is the perfect platform for players just looking to press in and further their claims, and it's great to see that on your screens here, Rugby.com.au and the Stan Sport platform. It's the Reds 26 leading the force, yet to score after 24 minutes, and the Reds are running hot off this set piece. There's plenty of space for Taka, who finds his opposite winger in Liner, and Liner's got so much pace. Plays back inside off the grummer. It's come off the feet of Penny Nangau, and that's a huge net gain for the Reds.
And that's just an awesome show of the basic skills in rugby. How good was each single pass from that Reds backline? Dre Pacquiao back into Bowman. A really crisp pass to Finn Mackay. Another crisp one to Tucker. And then an awesome left to right out to Nick Liner, who had the pace we thought, but the net gain is incredible. We watch here, Bowman, look at this pass. So sharp. Mackay, so sharp. Tucker, and again, bang. It's the simple things oftentimes in rugby.
So, back into the 22 go the Queensland Reds. It feels like the whole first half's been played around here, Wrongers, as the Reds continue to line up. And Kingsley Ace up the middle, so strong, gets to within 5. An important clean 2 from Kelly to secure that ball. Harris gets them to within 4. They can sniff their 5th try as Goldsborough stuffs through a 2-man tackle, but how's the pressure there?
In from the side.
Oh, Nick Liner
16
gets
good
pinged,
over the ball.
and the force get out of jail. Great scramble.
That's a real let-off there after some really heavy runs from that Reds team. Kingsley Ace again just pumping the legs, getting through. But that's what we need to see in defence. If you can put someone around that breakdown, get them down to ground quickly with that tackle, put someone around, it leaves that interpretation up to the ref of whether that cleaner is there quick enough and whether he comes through the gate, as we'll see here. Nick Liner, it's a good carry from Frankie Goldsborough. Nick Liner probably overruns it, comes from the side there. I think that was Jackson Bridges in to create the pressure.
But the line-out woes continue for the force, Wrongers. They've lost another one in tight. And back into the 22 go the Queensland Reds. Playing at the back is Harris. Finn Mackay gets an arm free and plays the double touch. So here they come down the far wing. Robinson has already scored 1. Hunting to get his side even further afront. The Reds are going a point a minute and they don't want to stop. Harris again. Jeez, he's been busy as the force muscle up on the big lock. To within 10 now. Go the Reds. Slater. Head down, bum up stuff from the big tight head. Here comes Goldsborough. Bridges working hard to get over that ball, but the runners just keep coming. The pace of the Reds is really starting to test this force side, but good counter-ruck to slow it down, and they've done very well. Somehow come back the Reds' way, so it's still Queensland within 1 now. Looking tight. Bowman goes digging. Maybe this time he's got there. Well, we accidentally called him last time for Levi Slater, but Alfie Bowman gets his sniping try.
He sure has. And all the work was done there again, just through that front door, carrying really nicely, getting quick cleans. We thought it'd been turned over there. Luke Holt-Brown with a nice counter ruck. Kingsley Ace just doing enough to stay in the fight. And then the defence around those posts, especially, Lockie, is so hard. You really can't get low. Bowman just needs to dot the ball over, as we watch here. The counter ruck comes. Holt-Brown, I think, gets pinged for coming in the side there, and that's why he pulls out, allows him to keep the ball. Ace goes close. And then with that post there, it's so hard to actually defend. Bowman just needs to throw it forward. Barely gets his body over the line, but the ball is clearly over the white line.
You can even see Ace just shifting his body slightly to create that space as well for Bowman to duck down. So a crafty try there is the Reds' 5th. It gets Alfie Bowman on the score sheet, and it gets pretty imposing lead now for the Queensland Reds after 28 minutes. They lead 33-0. after the conversion from Liner, dead in front. And Queensland are in complete control of this first half. It's just the bodies in motion, Wrongers. They are getting forward runners on pace, coming from depth. They are looking very smooth in attack.
Yeah, they are, and we see William Crew coming back in there for the force. That's the other thing that's really been hurting them, is just the set piece, the line out, and the other set piece that we see often is kick-off receipt and kick-off, and that's the second time it's gone out in the full. Yes, the wind is heavy, but that is just, yeah, simple stuff from the force.
So errors compounded on errors for the hosts, who were so good last week, it has to be said, bounced back massively to knock off the Brumbies at HBF in that doubleheader. But it has been one-way traffic so far in the opener for round 3 of Super Rugby Next Gen as we look back at Alfie Bowman's cheeky little try. Halfback stream, right, close range,
Absolutely.
dotting over. And now, another rare scrum. Just our third of the game so far. Half arm goes up and Bowman wants to play quickly again. So Parker out the back door. Alfie Bowman with a second touch, and he's creating space for Ty Tucker, who steps off the left. We haven't seen a lot of him this game, but he is so powerful as the left winger. And now, back into the 22 go the Reds. They are running hot. Mackay looks like he got caught a little high there by McGinnity, so we'll come back and we'll have a listen to referee Kaminsky.
Yeah, we've got a high tackle there on Finn Mackay. We've got Angus Kelly being taken off the ball and Max Sawyers. Also the second short arm there for going in early from the force. So lucky not to be penalised at scrum time as well. As we look back here, watch Angus Kelly get taken out. Watch Finn Mackay get clotheslined by McGinnity. This is where it can really fall out of the game. If you're chasing that scoreline, you look for those big plays. And quite often they happen a little bit sloppily like that, and if it ends up with penalties, it just reinforces that scoreline.
So a change in the front row too for the Reds. We've seen Jacob Job come to the field, playing out of West Bulldogs, but he's an Emerald junior, so it's good to see a bit of country Queensland in the mix there for the Reds. Exciting prospect on that loose head side, and also to a change with Will Pascoe, his Bulldogs teammate, coming onto the field. Oh, they're going to roll these changes early in the heat out west.
Definitely, and both have made good impacts. That's one thing the Reds have done really well in this competition, is their bench has come on and they've added. Not too many times we've seen them come on, make mistakes, make errors. They come on and positively add to the game.
So we've seen the Reds usually pump the line out, but they're going to test their scrum now. And playing off the back goes Kelly, who hits Bowman. Mackay again, the harbour bridge to Liner, and a brilliant cover tackle from Bearcroft. Well, hasn't Johan stood up in a tough half?
Oh, he sure has. We've spoken about him coming out of the line and putting on that tackle pressure, but that is just something that needs to be made. Nick Liner with the line at his mercy. That ball probably took a little bit long to come out for the Reds back lines wanting. But this is just pure one-on-one. He dives. That's a great tackle. And one desperately needed by his team.
Well, Miguel DeLonge was in no man's land. He sort of got caught trying to intercept, but that's a huge tackle from Bearcroft. One of the shining lights so far, but again, this line out continues to plague the force. They've managed to jag this one back, but they're camped right in their own line and they need an exit. So Hooper makes good contact out of that. That is a very impressive clearance, but the Reds, will they play quickly? No. Shut down. So a scramble, and the Reds still in possession, about 35 metres out from the try line. They lead 33 points to nil after 32 minutes.
And that's a great exit there by Evan Hooper, but this force line out really needs to come together. Oftentimes, especially with your main lock down, so we see the Reds line out falter a little bit. You need to go looking for those special plays over the top or around the front just to get back to winning ball, get some confidence.
Some variation as the Reds now look to attack through Goldsborough, who's been well handled so far. One cap in Super Rugby Pacific for Frankie. And Bowman looks to marshal the troops. Parker Hose played out the back a lot, and it works this time. Liner, soft hands from Howard, finds Tucker, and Tucker jinking his way down the left, gets an arm free. A chance now for Howard. Hasn't had too many touches, but a talent is Tom Howard, and a talent is wrapped up by the force. Well, The defence from the Sea of Blue has really started to show through. Nat Gallagher has been a busy man at number 8.
Yeah, they've toughened up this last 5 minutes. It's exactly what you want to see. Nate Gallagher with a great turnover. And that's we saw the Force doing it a little bit early, throwing those offloads. It can sometimes leave you isolated. And when you've got good people on the ball, that's what can turn you over and bring you back into the game.
Big moments, big defensive plays from this Force back row. But can they fix up their line-out woes? Needs to happen. We're 7, closer to 6 minutes from half-time. And we haven't seen a clean line-out in 15 minutes from the Force. So under the pump is Luke Megson to find his target. And can't again. It's been the Achilles heel for the hosts. And the Reds, another chance to counterpunch in tight from Kelly, who's been a busy man as the number 8 for Queensland. Job goes digging towards the 20 herd. Pakaho says, I'm carrying this time. Stomps out of the first tackle from Hooper and is eventually dragged down. So the weight of possession means that the Force are making so many tackles in sapping heat in Perth. Bowman digging again. Grenfell can't hold on, and this one's been bobbled forward. A chance to counterpunch if Hooper can keep it on the toe. So, I think it'll probably get called back. But great pressure from the Force. Oh, it's been bobbled out. So, just fumbled.
Red then blue.
Well, it's going to be a huge net game for the Force. And great defensive pressure there from Hooper.
Yeah, that's much better. We finally get an error in the Reds attacking play. The ball just going through Grenfell's hands. And Hooper hopping onto it, kicking it through. The pressure at the ruck again continues from the Force, which has been a real mainstay of their last sort of 5 or 10 minute fight back. See, I think it's Beecroft again with a really good tackle there. Keeping Liner. Liner does the right thing, trying to get up and play it, but knocks it on. I thought Beecroft might have had that and taken it to the house.
Honestly, he's like a hound after the hare. He has been lightning across this field. John Beecroft, and now a chance to attack for the Force. They get the half on, they play quickly. Aiken says, I've had enough of tackling, let's go. Whakafanua onto the field now. Keep your eyes out for jersey 22 for the Western Force. Big Boston, so impressive for the under-19s last year as their skipper. And plenty of junior Wallabies caps too. So keep those eyes peeled for the head tape in the centres. McGinnity plays that back. Bit of hesitation now, and Whakafanua has to clean up, and there are Reds all over him. So Kluter gets the clean steal. Whakafanua has to let it go, and probably better than giving away the penalty there. So Reds look to counterpunch. Mackay with the long ball to Pakeho, who says, I'll have a run now. Offloads away to Goldsborough. And back over the 10-metre line they go. But the pressure has really picked up at ruck time from the Force. And looks like Ty Tucker's been pinged for coming into the side wrongers.
Yeah, so we saw that again earlier in that 22-metre line. Number 14, Nakua, getting a good job getting over the ball and just forcing again, especially in those wide areas, that cleaner to come in on that angle and just slightly too much for the ref's liking.
It's good pressure there from Big Penny Nangau. He is an exciting prospect. We called him in round 1. And he had a bit of a tough afternoon against the Waratahs, but such an exciting sevens prospect in particular. He was part of that global youth squad last year. He played Coral Coast most recently as well. So, yeah, Penny Nangau gets it in space. Expect some fireworks, and that's what the Force want to see. They haven't quite clicked an attack. They've got it now, their set piece, and this time they do. McGinnity with an important win. Hooper plays out back to Holt Brown. Holt Brown breaks the first of his opposite, breaks the second, gets an offload away. Pass just grassed out the back, and it's messy stuff, but great scramble there from Howard, who worked hard, but he's been pinged. The call is illegally playing on the deck, and the Force get away with one there.
They do, starting to look nice, but just those little passes out the back just quite aren't sticking for them. They get the penalty if they can kick it down, which Hooper's had some great purchase on these kicks so far this half. And as commentators curse, he's got too much on it.
Oh, you've put the mockers on him there, Wrongers. That is brutal. Just goes dead in goal as we see the replay of Holt Brown with an important run, who's picked up there. And just, we thought the scramble from Howard might have won him that. Called illegally, but ultimately the Reds will say thanks very much. Kick goes dead. chance for a scrum and a huge let-off from what would have been the Force's best attacking position of the day.
Oh, it would have, and we saw the importance of their maul earlier, of how it just marched them forward at least 10 metres. That would have been their chance to get on the scoreboard and get themselves back into the game with some momentum.
So back to a full contingent now at scrum time 2, and the Force put the squeeze on and get the chocolates. Well, big moment in this game. They have plenty to pull back on the margin, but there's nothing like a scrum win to build confidence.
Oh, that's exactly what you want. That'll get your forward pack right in the game. Evan Hooper gets his time again, gets to go for that kick to touch. But that's exactly the sort of thing that Force forward pack needs, just to show a bit of grunt, a bit of fight back, and nothing like a tight head to do that. Josh Smith working really hard there to get under Jacob Jobe.
Lots of love for the piggies out there. So their best chance so far, about 12 metres out from home, of an attacking line out. Last few have started to stick, but the Reds are looking to put pressure on here. Will Crew back in the mix. Steers, but they hit McGinnity instead, and they set them all up. Good base so far for Luke Megson to get his mitts on it at the back. He has Tuafasina Asesina with him. Oh, what's the call here?
Oh, we've been called for truck and trailer there.
We still have 40 seconds.
40 seconds left in the first half, and that was the Force's probably most dominant opportunity in a long time at least.
Oh, that's tough. That's tough to see. I thought they were on a bit of a heater there. New man on the field, Bareka. Tuifa Asesina.
We'll get another look here. You can see what they're doing. They're trying to get around that corner and get past. You can see all the Reds defence coming up on that inside. That's where they get their momentum, and that's where they can fight through. Unfortunately, they've just got it wrong where they've forced... I'm not sure what's happened there at live play.
Last play.
It's all broken down here around set piece and line out. Messy stuff as we take a look at the replay. This one from the Reds. Just a little bobble from Kluter. So we'll have time for one last scrum here, and after what we saw from that most recent one, the Force will really like their chances of putting the squeeze on. So keep your eye on that new man, Tuifa Asesina, coming into the mix for his first taste of Next Gen. He's actually an Ipswich boy. He's chasing his dream in the Golden West. Played Red 16s in 23 and played under 19s Force last year. So exciting prospect to watch on the loose head side for the Forces. Fucker Fanua hits it at pace. He's like a bowling ball, Big Boston. And now, playing with real freedom and real pace, Jackson Rapata gets some front foot ball, and all of a sudden the Force are starting to sing with ball in hand. Aiken wants a wider runner. Will Crew's the man who tries to get them go for it, and the Reds have... Oh, what a steal there. Looks like Tom Robinson, who's been upended on the pilfer, somehow kept his mitts on it and gets his side out of trouble. Big play from the Red skipper on half-time, Rongers.
Yeah, it's a fantastic end from him to put the half to bed. But that was the Force looking at their absolute best. Whakafanua coming on that short seam. From there, they could just play momentum, fastball, send big bodies forward.
Well, a huge change of pace at the end from the Western Force. They still trail 33-0, so make no mistake, the Reds have been dominant, but signs of life late in the piece from the Western Force after an early blitz from the Reds. It really was one-way traffic early doors from the visitors. 5 tries to 0. Slater, Liner, Robinson, Ace, all crossing the chalk as well. It's been pretty comprehensive from Queensland so far, Rongers.
Oh, it really has, and it looked like they just had their way with it for the first 25-30 minutes. The set piece of the Force just really faltering, making it hard for them to get any ascendancy and get out of their half, but they showed real fight. They showed some defensive turnovers, got them back up the field, and that attack was looking like it was starting to go there. More looked like it was about to function, and that was more direct. That's what they need in the second half.
Well, we'll take a short break here in Super Rugby Next Gen. It's the Reds 33, playing the Force 0.
So another season excitement is off and running. Oh my goodness! Here we go! Fantastic ski!
Unbelievable scenes!
Where on earth did he find that one from? Big hit made. What an absolute scorcher! This is something else! That is nothing short of magnificent!
This is maths like you have literally never seen before.
Stan unlocks your exclusive weekly access to more spicy married drama than ever.
This is your exclusive backstage pass to all the drama.
You're not coming for my husband.
We know dinner parties can get messy.
Don't gaslight me.
But someone always spills more after.
What could possibly go wrong?
Maths After the Dinner Party. Stream now only on Stan.
Oh my goodness! Here we go! How many rotations is that?
My brain just exploded.
Down we go!
Oh, wow. So hungry for the gold.
Down we go! She's the Olympic champion! Oh, that's spectacular!
I promise to protect this family.
I got you.
Everything I'm doing, I'm doing for you.
We've been brothers for life.
You can't trust anybody.
Sometimes the people that you trust the most can turn on you with no warning.
Family sticks together no matter what.
London pride at stake. Chelsea takes a check. Jumbo Sullivan! The Calmarino! One of the most dramatic games of the season. Oh! Unbelievable! Jumbo! Robin Van Persie! And that has gone all the way! A capital showdown. Can Chelsea stop the procession?
You understand how massive this is going to be?
How good was that? Brilliant play!
No man has ever beaten me.
No, I'm a little intimidated.
Guess what I got?
A restraining order from another recipient.
That's funny.
It kind of is.
We've got some problems.
If you don't go to him, it'll haunt you forever.
In 2026, let's watch together on Stan.
Let's go.
Off and running.
Each match is an event.
It is an atmosphere with few parallels. The crowd on their feet. Oh, that's a try. Magnificent. Away and gone. Out of nothing. This is brilliant from Italy. A record-breaking, monumental moment. Did he get it down? You cannot turn away for a moment.
Coming to you live from Wanneroo in Perth, and the visitors, Queensland Reds. Well, they are absolutely storming towards the inaugural title. Liam, right? They lead 5-0. It is 33-zip. And so safe to say that while the force picked up towards the end, it's mostly been one-way traffic.
Yeah, it sure has been. And what we've wanted to see from the Reds in the last 2 weeks that we haven't has been that fast start. And sure, they've brought it today. They have absolutely come out of the gates. They've been doing everything right. Their attacks look silky. They've drawn the penalties and their set pieces work. As we see here, the hands from John Grenfell, Frankie Goldsborough getting a really nice one. And we pointed out the work of guys like Angus Kelly, Kenneth Harris to get the clean. Tom Howard there, Levi Slater as well get involved. And then it comes to the skills of guys like Bowman, Finn Mackay, just throws that long ball, and Nick Liner doesn't get a much easier finish than that. But that was their first involvement, really, their first attacking play. And now again we see Grenfell involved. He's had some really good carries, but going from that set piece, and then with a strong carry like that, it's hard to stop a guy like Levi Slater that close, wearing number 25, but he is the big tight end, and he is not to be missed today. And wow, they just kept on rolling from here. Tom Robinson, number 6, the skipper, who's been all over the park, gets a really nice kick from Finn Mackay, who just has that confidence in his game to put the ball where it needs to go.
He's been so good as Tommy Robinson, and so too as Kingsley Acerong, he's been full of running. He gets in tight and does the dirty work from close range, but I don't think you're going to see too many people at next gen level stopping him that close to the line. He almost had a second after digging this one out. It gets to within a whisker of the post.
Yeah, as we say that, they managed to stop him quickly, but it just lets his little mate Alfie Bowman come in. He's left enough space. You pointed out in commentary, Lockie, that he moves his body a little bit so the space to just dot that ball over the line is there, and really smart play from the halfback.
It was point-a-minute stuff there. They were rolling along at 33 zip on the half-hour mark, and it just started slowing up towards half-time as we see the scorecard here. Ace, Slater, Robinson, Bowman and Liner, plus Nick with 4 from 5 off the tee. But the Force showed real signs of life towards the end. It looks like the introduction of Whakafanua really added punch through the midfield for them.
Yeah, it did. Unfortunately, no highlights for the scoreboard, but that was when they looked their best. They got a couple more opportunities which looked dangerous, but that last phase of play, Whakafanua really hitting that seam short, and then it's just a momentum game. They've got big bodies, they can do it. They just need to get their set piece and get those errors out of the game.
So 40 minutes to play here in Super Rugby Next Gen. We'll take a short back, and we'll be back with you shortly for the second half. Well, welcome back to live pitches on Rugby.com.au and the Stan Sport platform. It is Super Rugby Next Gen Round 3, and the Queensland Reds are 40 minutes away from taking out the title. They hold an imposing 33-0 lead over the Western Force, and any victory will do for the Reds to wrap up the 2026 title. Remembering they got the chocolates against the Brumbies round 1, got an important tight win in the wet against the Waratahs last week at Ballymore, and here they are in Perth knocking on the door. That restart will just fall short, and if the Force want to touch it, well, they don't this time, and they'll get a chance from halfway. A bit of a stilted start to this one, Wrongers, but it's, the Reds streets ahead at the moment.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it just in case I did another commentator's curse, but that was something we saw in the first half, how hard the wind was for that Force team to manage, especially from your game players. We saw 2 kickoffs go out in the full, and there we see it again. Finn Mackay just making tough work of that. A little bit too short this time as we saw him going too far the other way.
So a good chance early now for the Force, who showed real zip in the last 10 minutes there. They've got the perfect opportunity on midfield as we just see a little tacker hoping to play 16th man for the Force, just get ushered off the field. He's in the jersey too, Wrongers. I'm not sure how it would have helped at scrum time.
That's how entertaining this game has been so far. Everyone wants to get involved.
So very, very good from the sideline. Western Force looking to add another 15 kilos of power. But play resumes, midfield attacking scrum for the Force, and they have threats both sides. Hooper on one, Whakafanua on the other, but the Reds put the squeeze on. A massive tight head after a poor restart. That is monstrous from Queensland, and then they're going to keep rolling forward. It's almost gone 10 metres. Bowman says, I've had enough of that. Let's play wide, and Liner with a chance now. Not today, says Bearcroft, who's been so good defensively, Wrongers, but will come back for a penalty shortly. What kind of scrum's that?
Well, that was a huge scrum, a tight head, and that's the first injection we've seen from number 18 for the Reds, Jonah Rangawai. He hasn't got much chance this tournament so far, but he's been in at Reds for a long time. He's been training. He's been learning the tight arts of that scrum machine, and you can really see that paying off there. All they did really was just that front row really bear down. The Force couldn't get the foot up to hook it. Then they just steamed over the top and kept going for another 5 or 10 metres. You don't often see that.
Well, what a way to start your next-gen career, Jonah Rangawai. He's coming out of the Gold Coast, TSS product. Big shout-out to his junior league club, the Mudgee Bar Redbacks, but hasn't he made a wonderful transition to rugby union? That's a superb scrum.
Yeah, that's amazing, and he'll be happy with that. What an injection, especially don't have to chase a kick-off too far. Your tight head will just walk to that centre and say, scrum time is my time.
He is an absolute unit, Jonah Rangawai. So gets his team on the front foot early. They're already back into the 22. It felt like we spent all the first half there, but not now. Not now, so the Force, they pick one off. A rare win against the line-out throw, and they'll chance around from inside the 22. Here goes Rapata, who hits Fatani to Vake. Shakes away out of the tackle of Tucker. And the Force, well, expect them to throw absolutely everything and the kitchen sink in this last half. Nothing to lose. We've seen what they can do late in the game as Whakafanua shakes out of the tackle of Rangawai. Certainly not a man you want to get a clean shoulder from. But so far the Reds keeping the Force pinned inside the defensive 22. I don't want to kick away. They don't want to kick to this dangerous back three though. They're keeping it tight and hoping to go out. Hagan says, nah, let's keep rolling around the short side. McGinnity is going to be a very busy man after Johnson went off with the HIA and the earlier yellow card to Will Crew. So hard work from the 19 jersey, Western Force. Boxy goes up and high. And it's a bit of a scramble, but eventually Johnny on the spot is Tom Robinson, who's stood up time and time again in this game so far for his side. In the number 6 jersey, Mackay wants to play with a bit of width and eventually pops out the back for Howard, who's got dancing feet. Beats the first tackle of Holt Brown and is buried in the hit by Rapata. Good night, Nurse. That is ruthless. And Tucker wants an extra piece of him. The play continues off the back. Mackay goes into halfback. And now an opportunity. Grenfell gets a ball out. And here goes Rangawai. Thundering up into the 22. Goes Big Jonah. But this one's been stripped out and away. Well, both sides playing with a bit of extra heat in the second half, Wrongers.
Oh, they are. You could see the reluctance of the Force to kick at all, and that's probably the impact of the wind coming out of that half. But really playing a lot of phases, and then the Reds getting themselves involved after a massive hit from Rapata. And there have been some good signs defensively from the Force, especially at the end of that first half into now. But then it comes down to the front rows for the Reds again. John Grenfell, that out of the back flick off his right hand is so good. To his man, Jonah Rangawai, who's had a really killer first 5 minutes.
Oh, the last thing you want to see is someone busting the defensive line of that size. Storms upfield as the big tight head. I'll be taking an extra 5 to do my shoelaces too, even if they were done. Big run from the Bing unit. And now, another chance to lay their claim at scrum time. Force camped down in the 22 for most of this early exchange. The Reds looking to put on the squeeze. Job, Grenfell and Rangawai. This time the Force hold their own. And they'll find an exit through Hooper, who says, let's put this a long way out. And it's a solid exit too. He's been all right off the boot.
Yeah, he hasn't had a whole lot of opportunity in attack, has he? But we mentioned him before the game around growth and improvement, and especially when your second playmaker, that number 12, can step in and just exit you like that. It helps your team immensely despite being down on the scoreboard.
That's what Next Gen's all about, right, Ron? Is we want to test these young players and see them really put under pressure in high-stakes circumstances, and we see both teams rolling some substitutions now. Johnny Grenfell will take a quick break. Isaac Rauluni comes into the mix now, and he's been pretty experienced as well. Aussie 18s last year. Had a start against the Brumbies in round 1, so he's no stranger to Next Gen either, as we see. Another change too. Big Bradley Coon coming into the mix. I think he had a bit of time with Sun Goliath too, Wrong, as in a bit of Red Heavies action, I think.
Well, there you go. He lost his pants on the way to the field. I don't know if you saw that there, but we're seeing some great introductions from our tight head props off the bench. Lucky.
Always great characters up front. There's the half arm they're given just for closing the gap there. And Hooper might tap and put this up into the sky. It's a little deep though, maybe too deep for his chasers, and I'm not quite sure what the plan there, Wrong, is. But they'll come back for a Reds line out.
No, I'm not sure either. Lucky, even the tap before the kick is a bit bewildering to me, but you can really see the impact of that wind, which is just going to show the force that if they want to get back in this game, it's going to have to come through strong set piece and through strong defence.
Well, play just starting to break down over the past couple of minutes. A few errors, bit of fatigue coming into the game. And the Force get away with that botched exit of the half arm. They'll pick up one from an error here at the Reds line out. And scrum time again. But still the 33-point margin holds. Ticking towards 48 minutes here in Perth of Super Rugby Next Gen round 3. Coming up tomorrow, we've got the Waratahs and the Brumbies. It's always an excellent Aussie derby. The Brumbies chasing their first win against a red-hot Tars team looking to bounce back from last week. So make sure you tune in for tomorrow's game on Rugby.com.au and Stan Sport as we see the Force attack from set piece, and up through goes Hooper, who gets a great up three, and Bearcroft wants to draw and pass. He says no, go himself. Fatani Tavake gets his hands on it. Somehow the pass got away, and now it's the Force's opportunity to chance their arm in tight. Long time since we've seen them in this patch. And they're looking to lay siege. Brad Coon knocked backwards in a two-man tackle. Very good indeed from the Western Force. And soft hands at the back. Here's Jackson Bridges out wide. Ranging across to the top left corner goes the 4-6. And now they have advantage as well. So, oh, look at that offload. That's beautiful stuff. And it gets the Western Force a try. It's their fullback, Miguel DeLonge, after a miracle offload. And finally the Force are on the board.
That's gone side to side. That's a great try from them, showing everything, everyone getting involved. Nothing too flashy though, was it, Lockie? It was just simple stuff. Evan Hooper making the right call of holding that ball, tucking it, then getting those offloads. And when they start to stick, we've seen them be dangerous. That was probably their Achilles heel in that first half. Played the right options, made the right decisions, but the pass was not sticking. And now we get to see some really exciting footy from them.
Well, we know that the Force can pile on points so quick. We saw it last week against the Brumbies. 3 tries in 5 minutes at the back end. And just the soft hands from DeLonge. He's thrown that pass to Bridges and he gets back up off the deck, works around the blind side, and is the man to receive that offload. Luke A can take a bow. That's a lovely pop down the side.
That's great. And then also the work by Jackson Bridges. He does a nice carry there, but then does that little release, get up, play again. Again, just buys yourself some time for your cleaners to get there. Allows them to hold that ball because I think it was Will Pascoe was all over it, but allows him to hold it, retain it, and then Will Aiken doing exactly what he does. Luke Aiken, sorry, getting a great offload.
So, the Western Force draw first blood in the second half. It's still a long way to go, 33 plays 5, but all of a sudden there's a bit more excitement buzzing around the field. There's more excitement in the commentary box as the Western Force start to flex their muscles at home. The Reds, their first restart since the very first play. And Finn Mackay says, let's go high, let's go left. Ping them deep, and Whakafanua is the man. Has to charge out of his 22, and charge he does. He's a solid unit, is Boston. Fighting for that ball, his job. But he doesn't win it this time, just loses his feet, and the Force retain. Playing out the back now, and storming up the middle. Goes Rapata. Starting to find their groove here. Other Western Force. Aiken says, let's play downtown. They want to use the wind to their advantage. It's tricky conditions, but Finn Mackay is up to it. Force swarming over in defence, though. You feel like the intensity's just lifted a little notch here as the Reds now look to punch out with their own defensive half. They're not used to being here in this game of the Reds. As we see another new man onto the field as well in jersey 21, Cooper Stewart, his third straight game off the pine, come on for Alfie Bowman. He'll look to keep the tempo high for the Reds. And there he is, the new man, Stewart. Back onto the right foot, goes high. Challenging conditions. And his first kick just slips out on the full. Net win for the Force.
Definitely, and that's what happens, isn't it? The Force are putting that pressure on with the attack. They're marching up. They put a good contestable kick in, get some defensive pressure. And then the Reds probably caught up in something they haven't had to do it all this game, which is exit not at their own pace. Cooper Stewart slowing it down, but getting that kick just a little bit rushed. Good pressure again from McGinnity coming through.
You can see that wind has really picked up as well, so blowing right to left on your screen at home. It's favouring the Reds, but it also gives the Force an opportunity to hold hanging kicks nice and high up, get their chasers behind it. That pass will absolutely be called back. Outside shoulder of the Force, and again, that wind.
And while we've seen improvements in all the other areas of the Force since half-time, their attack's coming nicer, the defence is looking stronger. This line-out is just not learning. What I'd like to see from them is stop trying to win the ball in the air and try to use some moves around the front, throw it way over the top to a back coming over the 15 metres. Just any other way to take that pressure off their line-out forwards.
Bit of problem solving on the go required for the Western Force liner as the Reds now look to attack. Mackay was put under pressure, managed to get a grass pass away. That pass seemed to drift forward as well, and the wind starting to play havoc here. As we tick towards 53 minutes, it is 33, Queensland leading the Force 5. And you hear over the comms, we'll take the scrum any day of the week. I think you'll love to hear from the young Bucks Wrongers.
How I have to rule it.
No front rowers backing down. They've both had their chance. Both got a nice tight head against the feed. But it's that confidence you love to see, and it's critical at points like this in the game, both for the Force when you're down by this much and the Reds when you're up by this much, to really stick to the basics of your game. Keep the foot on the throat if you're the Reds, and if you're the Force, just fight your way in one battle at a time, and this scrum is the perfect place to do it.
So it's been a great battle up front for the big boys, and now the backs go to work. Whakawhenua unlocks the try scorer DeLong, but over that like a limpet of the Reds. It's slowed down, but it's not called turnover, so the Force still have it. And they're starting to find some real punch and attack of a host. That time it's Gallagher, who's still crawling a little forward, but plays up, goes again. It's smart play from the Western Force anchorman, and Aiken goes digging, looking to keep the pace in the game now. Stepping out of this one is Beercroft, and he's manhandled towards the sideline. Gets the offload away to Whakawhenua, who wrestles his way to the ground. And McGinnity takes the next carry. Very busy has been Ollie McGinnity, as Hooper wants to play wider. There's Tuifa Sasina. Big Baraka's been solid since coming on as well. Rapata fakes the short, goes himself, gets a few more metres, and now they're in the 22. So the Western Force with advantage now. Will Crew wrestles out of the tackle there. And now the Force keeping the pace up. Aiken looked like a little bobble, but they'll come back for the advantage.
Number 6.
And the pendulum has really started to swing the Force's way.
It sure has. Jeremy Thrush's halftime speeches need to be recorded. They are often coming out and doing much better things, but their attack just looks a lot more fluid. They're actually going more direct. They're getting those stronger carries, allowing for easier cleans. Whakawhenua, Rapata, they've been great. 17 and 18, the Force props as well have come on and been immense. Even just here, watching him, ability to spin out, then get that clean, and then Whakawhenua takes it forward. Aitken backing up as every good halfback does. That's just putting them behind the Reds' defensive line, which they aren't used to at the moment today.
So another new man on for the Force. Cruz Remy. It's his first next-gen cap playing out of Cottesloe. Another product of the under-19 system from last year. So it's great to see that continuity coming through from Super Rugby under-19s. This, of course, is the competition that has replaced that. It feeds into under-20 selection for Australia coming up. We've obviously got the TRC in April and then heading into a World Cup in Georgia. It's great to see this pathway being streamlined as we look towards Junior Wallabies caps. And I'm sure plenty future junior Wallabies in this game too.
Yeah, and especially in the West, that's something that has struggled in the past, that 16s, 19s, 18s pathway for the Western Force, but it's really getting stronger, and you can see them coming through into this competition and playing well.
So Remy gets 2 touches from Whakawhenua, and the new man breaking free. Oh, the offload just doesn't go down, and a chance now for Ty Tucker, who's so big, so strong. Clicks this one downfield, so now it'll be a foot race. Hooper is the man who's getting back for his side, and he'll want to put this straight out. And the Reds say thanks very much. From being deep in their own 22, they'll attack from just outside theirs. Massive turnaround.
Well, the first touch from Remy was a good one. We've just been speaking about those pathways, and that's exactly what you want to see. The offload, though, is the experience that comes with playing at this high level, and Tucker's done so well. He's held his feet, and then to be able to put that on the toe under immense pressure is unreal. Hooper, as he's done all day, getting back and putting in the kick for his team, but the pressure from Frankie Goldsborough making it tough.
Well, they play short, do the Reds. A new man on the field, Trevor King in jersey 24, comes onto the paddock. And the Reds now back to bashing on the door of the 22. It's a big play back there as well from Ty Tucker, because Mikel DeLonge was over for his second if he doesn't make that grab. So huge turnaround here for the Reds. And up the guts goes Jacob Job. Tough customer is the big boy from Emerald, as the Reds look to try and wrestle back complete control of this one, and it's very much been the Force's half so far, and big Brad Coon is the pilferer this time, and now a chance. Oh, and it goes down. Well, we've put the mockers on them again, Wrongers. 2 men outside unmarked, and the inside hand goes up and spoils it for both.
Oh, that was a great passage. The counter ruck has been a real strength of the Force's game. As you said, Brad Coon getting that ball. Luke Holt-Brown with the pass, and then Rapata with a really nice over the top. If any of his men, DeLange or Beecroft, got a hand onto that, I think they would have had open grass in front of them.
It looked like he was heading straight to DeLange's breadbasket, and Beecroft's probably just put the mid out when he shouldn't have. You could see acres of space in front of him. We know he's got wheels.
That's that turnover attack that you really want to see. Get that ball wide, get it to your speed man, and couldn't see on the wide camera then, but I don't know if the Reds had a fullback down. They would have been in that attacking mindset, probably all up. It's where that counter ruck can be so effective.
Well, another try there would have made things very interesting heading into the final corner, but still plenty to play and still plenty of running left in this Force team. But the Reds with the advantage with the half arm. They can look to cash in now, but Kaminsky's calling back just in front of the tap circle. It's been an interesting part of
Free kick.
Watching the half arm operate recently, Wrong, as we've seen new law variations at super level. You can take it from a bit further out, but still finding exactly what works at this level, as Ace takes it himself. Met in a good tackle of Kern Gallagher. There's the Reds back with possession. Up the guts they go once more. Mackay wants his forwards to work, and work they do. There's Tui. No, rather that's Rangawai. Carrying forward now, and the new man on, Taina Graham. Big unit out of Brothers. Started 6 last week when Robinson was injured. Did a good job too. So looking to cash in on his minutes off the bench now. Kenneth Harris out the back, and here comes Pakeho. Spins out of a couple and gets deep into the 22. Trevor King is not a man you want with the ball close to the line, but it's coughed up this time, and the Force get away with one again. They are finding ways to survive in this half. DeLange scrambles an exit, but the Force have come out from the sheds a completely different team.
They have. They're looking much more resolved in their defence. That's the type of pass that the Reds have done so well, and the Force have started to bring into attack. The one by Kenneth Harris, where he really digs into the line first. Here's the one we see, and then he throws that pass out the back. You can see how hard it is for Rapata to actually drift off. That being said, the Reds then try to play on top and knock it on, and there's Force jerseys all over that ball, which is what we really didn't see in the first 25-30 minutes. They're digging in hard.
They certainly are, and they've managed to really put pressure on this line out too, but Kingsley Ace is the man who comes up with it at the back, and he's got 3 Force boys wrapped around him. Eventually he fights his way to ground, but I think the maul was called earlier. Going digging is Cooper Stewart. He does a good job to get the ball out of some heavy traffic there. And 2 rucks form, not sure where the ball is. Eventually it comes back the way of the Reds as Howard goes into the role of halfback. Nice little shift as Mackay wants to play wider. Here comes Pakeho, draws, passes, a chance for Tucker. Steps inside, gets it down. That's a big play for the Reds.
That's excellent. And we spoke about his strength in contact before to put the ball on the toe. How does he keep up there? The strength through his hips. He's just able to survive tackles, get himself forward, and stay on his feet and stay alive. But it's the pass beforehand that comes to mind. We spoke about it in the phase before from Kenneth Harris. Don't know if it was Will Pascoe this time, but the second row is really able to dig deep into the line before they throw that ball out the back to Mackay. Just gives his back so much more time. Here it is. Pascoe, you can see the shooting defence, but he doesn't matter. He catches it off his body, puts it back, and then Dre Pakeho does a great job of drawing in that defence from Remy and giving his winger as much time and as much one-on-one as he possibly can in a situation like that.
Well, Tucker's ended up beating 4 on the way to the line. That's very good. Stepping off the left, coming back inside, and for a big unit, he moves very well indeed. So, good finish from him. We saw him getting some attention after the fact, but that's a very important try there for the Reds to wrestle back a bit of control, because the first 20 minutes of this second half have been all the force. And the 33-point buffer is now restored. So, as we see, Ty Tucker just coming from the field there, a bit of discomfort around the lower leg. And we'll see some changes run late. It might bring Ryan Heaton into the mix for the Reds as well, as we see both sides empty the bench. But Ty Tucker, take a bow. That's some finish.
Great finish, and that's the try that can really make or break your last 20. When you're up by like a score like that, 33-5, then you get that next try after a long period of the force really resisting. It could either end the force or they'll find another way to fight back.
Well, Finn Mackay, he's absolutely pumped the restart back downfield. And they'll have to play out of their own line. So it looks like a goal line dropout. And you'd have to say that's a big net game for the Reds. Finn Mackay from inside his own 22 pumps it with the wind behind him. And Evan Hooper has no choice, has to dot down and get his team back behind him. So looks like what little resistance the force might have had to the final result might have been snuffed out by that Ty Tucker try. 38 leads 5. Heading towards 63 minutes. And what looks like the Reds storming towards the Next Gen title as Dana Graham takes names off the goal line dropout. That's big impact from the big flanker off the bench. And now the Reds, well, they want to keep the foot on the throat. Kingsley Ace spins out of a couple, gets them back to in the 22. Cooper Stewart's pass is a bit wild, but well handled by Mackay. The long ball looked a little forward. And that's what the call is from the referee too. Starting to get fast and loose out here.
It is, and they're starting to throw it all out there. They don't want to leave anything. 17 minutes to go in this competition. The result, I think we can say, is just about sealed up, Lockie. So this Reds team especially are going to want to try and pull out some party tricks to finish the game.
I mentioned it, now the bench fully empty. Ryan Heaton out of North, so first grade regular with the Eagles through last year, and he captained the under-19 Reds at some stages last year, so exciting prospect to come on as we see plenty of fresh faces being rolled out late. Tom Robinson's put in a very big shift though, as someone who's played plenty of time on the side. It's great to see another rising flanker through the Reds here.
Yeah, I've done a lot of training with Tom Robinson. He's Herculean in the gym. He is so strong. And he really is starting to transfer that aggression and dominance onto the field. As we see, though, the Red scrum probably just going a little bit too hard on the angle there.
And they'll let him know about it too, won't they, the force? It's been probably the highlight of the game for mine wrongers. It's been this scrum battle, hearing the boys pop off against each other, calling for scrums. They want it, they love it. It's a great part of the game, and it's been certainly a feature of this game.
Yeah, the only downside of the scrum penalties the Force are winning is that they then have to go to a line out, which is an area that really has failed for them today.
Been tough. You can't overstate the loss of Max Johnson early. He's been the rock of that set piece so far. He's had a really interesting journey too, Big Maxie, and we hope he's all right. After going through Oz under 20, he's spent some time with the Rebels, and this one's almost been picked up by Boston, who gives himself the self-5. He knows how good that would have been, but the Reds aren't stopping for him. They're going to return it with interest, and Finn Mackay pins them back into their own 22. Bobbling that one. the force, but they managed to exit and get bodies behind the ball. 38 plays 5, 15 minutes to go in this contest. The Reds already wondering what they can drink out of the inaugural Super Rugby Next Gen trophy as Gallagher gets dragged down just outside his 22. Reds aren't done yet, neither are the force. That's a huge shot from Trevor King up under the ribs. You wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of that, but the force say, let's keep playing. The kick's a bit of a nothing one. Goes up the middle of the park, and now a chance for Tom Howard to counterpunch from fullback. Hasn't seen a lot of the footy as Tom Howard, and he's wrestled up this time. Eventually gets forced down, but referee Kaminski said it's already a maul, so that's great defensive play from the force.
That is the captain there, Luke Holt-Brown, getting all over that ball. As you say, Howard hasn't had a whole lot of counter-attacking opportunity, been very set-piece dominated today for that Reds attack. So trying to get involved, and then the force captain not bowing out. That's exactly what we'd want to see. He was great in week 1 on the call as well, where he made a couple try-saving tackles despite being down heavily. And he does a great job just to hold that ball, buy himself some more time, and let the blue jerseys flood in.
There's something about that blue 7 jersey. It gets tough, uncompromising players in the mix there. There's a bit of Dickie Hardwick about young Luke Holt-Brown, actually, the way he gets about it. Now let's see what the Force have up their sleeve here. Nothing to lose. And they certainly don't want to leave a bullet in the chamber. Remy off the back to Hooper. Hooper straight into the heavy shoulders of Josh Takai, who's come onto the field. His 3rd straight game off the pine, and he scored a good try against the Tars too. Did Josh Takai. The Force still with possession, and this time the Reds hoping to send back a bit of their own medicine at the maul. It's bobbled out. They get their payback, and things just starting to break down late in the game here, Robbers.
They are, but you've got to appreciate the defensive efforts of that. We speak about Holt-Brown before. I think that was Trevor King and Tanner Graham getting all over that ball. Not quite enough to keep them all controlled, but then you've got to throw that pill backwards to try and keep it on your team, and forcing the knock on there. So we get to go back to scrum time, your favourite part. So watch here, Tanner Graham just showing his strength to keep him up. Trevor King comes and joins in. And here comes the knock on by trying to force it back, force it out of that maul situation.
He's been full of running, hasn't he, Tanner Graham, and full of heavy shoulders. He's a bit of a nudgy system, but I think he's actually come out of the Melbourne pathways and chancing his arm up now in Queensland as this one's picked off. Here goes Big Boston, Whakafanua. He'll have a clear run to the line. And I think no one more deserving in that Force back line. He's been very impressive since coming on, and he bags the home side second.
Absolutely, he's had an absolute impact. Just brought direct running, some presence, some fear into that Reds back line. And this time on the defensive end, just willing to swoop on that ball. We haven't seen too many drop balls and errors from those Reds inside backs. But that's what you need to see from this Force side, and dare we say it, we saw them pile on 3 or 4 tries in the last 5 minutes last week. Not sure if we'll see the same again, but as you said, very deserving for Whakafanua.
Just a little behind Mackay was that block pass from Pakaho, and Boston says, thanks very much, I'll take that. Usually see him in the close quarters, but he's still got pace for a solid unit. Interesting pathway too. It's Boston, coming out of King's School in Sydney. He played junior Wallabies at just 18. He was part of that inaugural TRC tournament up on the Sunshine Coast in 2024. Got his crack against, debuting against the nation of his birth, New Zealand. And he was so impressive for the Western Force 19s last year and in the junior Wallabies campaign. So, exciting prospect. He's knocking on the door of a Super Rugby Pacific debut, and you'd certainly like to see a compact, hard-running centre in that Force team going forward. One to watch in future as play gets back underway and picked up by Kluter, who's back onto the field and so strong in contact is young Elan. So the Reds, well, I don't want to have the Force with the last laugh, but they might just after stripping that one away. Good play from Rapata to regain possession for his side. As we see the Force now stepping in and out, close range Rapata with the dancing feet again. More sideways than forward. attack left. Remy. Again goes Rabat, his third carry in the minute. But not a lot of go for it. It looks like fatigue's really starting to take its toll for both teams. So they'll take to the skies instead. Howard under pressure from Whakapanua gets the pop away. That'll create some opportunity now for Liner. Nangau with the hit, but play continues. Robinson has Takai outside him. And they're not done yet, are the Reds. Really starting to open up here late in the piece from both sides. So Ace goes into the role of halfback. Finds his front row partner King, who gets them up over the chalk. And once again, we're in the attacking 22 for Queensland. Stewart goes digging. Mackay puts it on the toe. There's no one back at home. Cluter can't clean up, though. It's good scramble there from Whakapanua. But here comes a counter-up from the Reds. Illegally so, says referee Kaminski. Well, what do you make of that one, Lamright?
He's calling ruck form there. I'm not sure. I thought the counter ruck from Graham was good. Removed all the threats. Josh Takai possibly able to pick up that ball from my view. But that being said, I thought that Cluter might have dived on the player on the ground. So probably a justified penalty there, although for different reasons. And that kick does not go out again. And Kingsley Ace off the back fence.
Here goes Big Kingsley. We know he loves some open pasture. This time he's dragged down, but they're in a good position, are the Reds. Midfield just outside the 22 with a split defensive line. Pakaho plays out back again. This one's bobbled. Takai does a good job of recovering. And Reds get bodies behind the ball. There goes Pascoe, who's met a solid hit. Good scramble off the deck. Somehow it's found its way back into the hands of Dre Pakaho, and Pakaho says, I'll go myself. Steps off the right, splits him up the middle, and feeds it back inside. That is beautiful play for Pakaho. And Isaac Rauluni says, thank you very much.
That's excellent play from Dre. Just on that counter-attack, Cooper Stewart doing a great job to just tap that ball out of the ruck with the counter-attack coming through the ruck. And then Dre just does it all himself. He steps and then, importantly, makes that right call at the end to pop it back inside. Sometimes you can get caught in the tunnel of just, this is going to be my try. Great team play from the man. As we watch it back here, he just takes that right foot step there, beats everyone. And how about the support from the big man, Isaac Rauluni, who gets to finish it off.
Pakaho's sort of played the role of crash and either straight distributor. We haven't seen him pass a lot closer to the line or really chance his arm, and I think you can just see the quality and the class there of Dre Pakaho splitting the line with nothing going on and presence of mind to feed back in for Rauluni. I dare say he won't score many easier tries than that for Big Isaac.
It points to how tiring this game has been for the Force guys. We've had a yellow card, we've had to work really hard at set piece. They had to tackle so much in that first half, and even if you look at their last attacking phase there, just going side to side with really no momentum, that's just going to drain you and open up opportunities on that counter-attack for the Reds team.
So messy restart, but eventually it goes back the way of the Reds. And then let's see it open up late in the piece. Here goes Cluter, puts it on the toe. It's got to come off the side, but it might work for Big Elan, who dances off the deck. And he manages to get his side within 6. That's huge play. And off go the Reds. Kingsley Ace cashes in. Oh, 2 tries in 2 minutes. Pop the corks, Queensland. You've got yourself a next-gen title.
They have, and a well-deserved one. They've had a really good tournament so far, but that is an awesome try to see. We spoke about the fatigue that's got to be building in the Force's legs, but one guy who does not seem to get fatigued is Kingsley Ace, and I think they've used him very effectively during this tournament. He comes on, plays the first 30, bashes them around, and then you get the very capable Jacob Jobe coming on, doing that middle period, and he finds his way back into the end game. With such running like that, he is hard to stop. But the man to talk about in that try really is Ilan Cluter, isn't it? We'll see a replay shortly, I'm sure, but just the numbers, takes the ball in his hand and making the right decisions of when to pass, when to play. And this kick is, again, probably not his specialty, but this certainly is. Diving on loose ball, securing that, and then Ryan Heaton doing a great job to just make sure he's there. Cooper Stewart gets that ball, and then this is all special. Kingsley Ace sees the space, runs at the halfback, No shame in that big fella. And crashes over onto the post.
I think Cruz Remy's just looked up, seen Kingsley Ace running towards him and gone, that is just not fair. But great work. You're right in the lead up from Pluto. That's sharp stuff. And we mentioned off the top today, our player to watch for Queensland, a wing turn flanker. You can see exactly why he was on the edge for the 19s last year. Full of pace. Not sure the chip is his game, but he had the speed and the strength to get there, and certainly one to watch coming through the ranks is Ilan Kluter. And a second try for Kingsley Ace. The margin is 40, and just about 4 minutes to play here. So what can the force throw late? Rapata's got something to say about it, though. Gets through the line. That one's lost, though, and advantage is gone too. So returning that one with interest is Queensland. Could that be a 50-22 as well? Oh, it is.
Howard wants to play quick. No dice.
Hey guys, make sure we don't go in that 5 channel. Can't stop that quick try.
That's a great turn of pace, isn't it? We thought Rapata, who's been probably the other really deserving player off that force bench, who's came on and made an impact, might have gone through there, but then those offloads just don't tend to stick, and that's been the issue with the force today. They just haven't quite found each other. And the Reds really hopping on that counter-attack, and now we'll see another good attempt. Oh, sweet. Lineouts have just been an issue all game, Lockie.
It was mostly the force, but the Reds have shown it's a shaky area for them too, particularly in the attacking side. It's come back the way of the force. Soft hands from the big unit there. Still coming back the way of the force. But you mentioned, the force just not having the support behind the last pass going. I think that's probably been the difference. The Reds have just got more bodies behind the ball in defence and attack. They've been there to support breaks in the line and turn those line break opportunities into tries, and the force just quite haven't matched that pace.
And that's because the Reds have just applied so much pressure. You look at this force forwards pack, and probably their tight backs as well have had to make so many tackles. We've mentioned Johan Beecroft's name a lot, and to mention the left winger that much for impressive defence just shows how much they've had to defend. It's going to take it out of the legs, and it's not going to leave the amount of time to get into that support play that you would probably want as a coach.
So time ticking away, about 2 minutes to play, and the Reds well and truly have wrapped up this one. Who's really stood out for you in the Reds today?
Well, I think it's been a really good team effort, but Kluter has been good. He's made a couple nice turnovers. He's made good decisions on when to join in out wide and when to just do the tough stuff, because that's something that's really stuck out on all the Reds' tries. Their breakdown has been so efficient. So Kluter's been good for me. I think Mackay has come in and done a pretty good job without overplaying his hand as well, especially off the back of a Super Rugby debut last week.
So the force looking to land one final punch. Passes like that don't help, but Boston, oh, this one's somehow come back their way after juggling forward. And Gallagher, well, he loves broken play, and he gets it to DeLonge. So maybe they will have the final say. Miguel DeLonge makes a mockery of the calling team, bags his second, and just something sweet after 78 fairly sour minutes for the force. Miguel DeLonge bags his double. What a find he's been, the former under-20 bull.
Yeah, that's a great way to finish. No turning over and rolling over for this force team. Nate Gallagher there has, again, on a beaten force time, had some really good involvement, some nice breakdown pressures earlier, but that out of the backhand pass is just such a crucial skill, especially for those back rowers playing on the edge. And then if you can put someone away like DeLonge, he is going to have the pace to go all the way.
Very exciting to see what Miguel DeLonge can do in a force jersey going forward. He got some good caps under 19s, under 20s levels for the Bulls over in Pretoria. He's come across, he's based with, I believe, the Nedlands club at the moment. So good pickup for Neddies as we see Penny Nangau pull this one across the face. But as we've seen so often, the force willing to fight to the death in Super Rugby Next Gen. Just a couple of minutes to play here, maybe even just the one. As we check out the replay, 2 passes went to ground, and I think Luke Holt-Brown was the only one who kept playing and manages to feed Gallagher, and this pill was just a beauty.
Oh, it's excellent, and that's what you want. Your 7 and your 8, probably the older, more statesman leaders, Luke Holt-Brown, the captain, just playing until the whistle's gone, and that's what you need to see, especially when you're down in the scoreline. And speaking of, here comes Cluter again.
It's just come off the foot, and the clock's ticked into the red on our end. Just waiting to see whether referee Kaminsky will play this final lineup. So it looks like 90 seconds to go, or sounds like, regardless. So we're in the referee's time now. And the Reds will be stinging from that final try to Miguel DeLonge. 52 plays 17. They want to restore that 40-point buffer, do the Queenslanders. With their final act of a next-gen winning campaign, can they land a final try of this one in round 3? The maul is dragged down. They have the advantage.
Is it the guy on the ground? Yeah. Oh, okay, thanks.
And here goes Takai. What can we see from the Reds here? Harris up the guts, gets the pass away to King, who's a tough man to handle, gets them even closer. That ball's gone down, but they have the advantage, so I dare say we'll see the Reds keep on pushing to the very, very end. What would you do here? Would you back your scrum after all the chat, or do you go to the line?
No, I think you've got to go to the line. The maul is something that this Queensland side takes very seriously, and they haven't got that maul try yet today, so I think they'll push for that. Kenneth Harris seems to be leading the line out now, and he's probably another one I should have mentioned for one of the players of the game. I think he's been understated and just doing the hard yards there. He's been excellent all tournament, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a maul on him to finish this closing game.
Good depth in the lock stocks for Queensland. This team is without Will Ross as well. He's been so impressive through age grade level as the Padua man. So lots to like about the Brosnans, the Harrises, the Pascos.
And looks to me as well like Levi Slater is now our 7, which means our man Cluter has ended up back at wings somewhere.
I expect fireworks in this final play, Rollins, as the Reds go to work, dragging across the park, but the force swimming through. Will Cruz doing a good job there of putting pressure on. And now they'll attack through the mid. There goes Pakeho. Set up that earlier try to Rauloni and wants to stamp his authority on this game. Kingsley Ace wants a hat-trick. Bumps out of 3. He looks like he might get held. He needs to fight to ground. The force eventually told to release the big unit, so he doesn't get there this time. There's space in the blind if they want to take it, but the force quickly shut up shop. 52 plays 17. The Reds looking for one final blow here in Super Rugby Next Gen. Can they celebrate their trophy with the last laugh? Within 2 metres now. They pull the trigger to go wide. Mackay floats a long ball. Stepping off the side. Tom Howard needs support. Holt Brown's over him, but well supported. Other Queenslanders. Graham shakes off 2, shakes off 3. Keep going, big boy. He's almost there. Within a metre of the line now. And looks like they've gone to pick. It's very messy there. The force, look like they've got their mitts on it. Now there's space, and it's try time. Josh Takai with the last laugh in Super Rugby Next Gen. The force looked like they were going to hold, but Queensland just too good at the death.
Yeah, a couple worrying signs there of potentially getting held up in that Queensland attack, but they eventually find their way. Taylor Graham it was who finally just straightened, went forward. As you said, the big boy saying, give me a run, get me going. And then in the end, a simple work here. Cooper Stewart doing the great job of just identifying the man. Josh Takai with a 101. And it's hard to stop on jockey defence like that for Nangau. But you're right, the Queensland Reds get to finish this tournament with a real statement piece. 40-point win, probably going to come to 42 now. And they've been impressive, Lockie, the whole way through.
They certainly have, unbeaten in the inaugural Super Rugby Next Gen. As we see Nick Liner steady himself. Queensland champions. They have swept the competition. Brumbies in round 1, Tars in round 2, and Emphatic in round 3, Rongers.
Yeah, you can't put much wrong with that performance. The Force showed a lot of fight in the last 5 minutes of that first half and the first sort of 20 of that second half, but it was just too much class for the Reds. They have a number of players with that Super Rugby Pacific experience and also just preseason experience with the top squad, and they're really showing. They're well drilled. They just do the simple things very well, and it was a really entertaining game today.
It's been brilliant. The second half full of running, particularly from the Western Force, who brought their A game after what we certainly hope was another classic Jeremy Thrush halftime chat. So we'll get a look at those second half highlights very shortly, but it certainly lit up Wanneroo. It's been an excellent afternoon of rugby. But don't call Sunday's game a dead rubber. Tars v Brumby is always so exciting at any level, so make sure you tune into that on Rugby.com.au and the Stan Sport platform. As we've wrapped up here, the Reds comprehensive over the Western Force.
And the Reds are on the red eye back home tonight, so I don't know if they'll get too much celebrating with that trophy before they hit the airport. So we look back at the tries now coming through, and it was the Western Force who started the half so well. Jackson Bridges, just watch him here, does a really great job on the ground to keep that ball alive. And then Aitken doing such a great offload to Miguel Delange, who just stays alive after a really strong carry before that. But then it's these sort of passes from the Reds. Will Pascoe just keeping that ball deep into the line and then getting it out to his backs, where Tucker is just too strong. He beats 4 on the way to the line. And here we go. Whakafanua, who was so impressive off the pine today, really just brought direct momentum. But this time defensively, he's right there to scoop up on probably the one wayward pass that the Reds had. And watch that, Cooper Stewart in the 21 jersey, just doing an awesome job to stop that ball going to the Force. And then Drake Bakao does it all himself before linking the final pass to Isaac Rauluni. And this is the man we talked about before game, Ilan Kluter. Does a great job, used to be a winger, but now wearing the 7 jersey, as we can see from that kick. But then he dives on that loose ball, just wants it more. And then all it takes is get it to your big man. Kingsley Ace spots out the halfback in the line and shows some serious pace and strength to get under the sticks.
He was impressive all afternoon, wasn't he, Kingsley? But the Force kept fighting, they kept throwing punches, and this work from Nate Gallo to break the line, get the offload away to Delange was something special from the hosts at the death. They really wanted to have that last laugh, well celebrated by the crowd, but Queensland too big, too strong on the end. They did not want to die wondering. And a great call here from Stewart to pick out Josh Takai. Too big, too strong, too close to the line, and Queensland with the last laugh. So, there you have it. An emphatic round 3 win, full time in Super Rugby Next Gen. The Reds 57, Ace with 2 tries, Slater, Robinson, Bowman, Tucker, Liner, Rauluni, and Takai getting the Chockies over the Western Force 17. Delange with 2, just the 1 conversion, and Whakafanua also getting over. Solid from Nick Liner off the tee again, 6 from 9. So good return for him. He scored tries, kicked plenty of conversions in this Next Gen Super Rugby competition, and why wouldn't you when the Reds have been storming along at such a pace? You've seen all the Reds games so far. How have you seen them grow throughout this season towards the title?
Well, I think we saw in that first game, they just took a while to come to the party, didn't they? They were down 14-0 against the Brumbies, and then they really set into what was going to be their culture of just actually playing the right options and playing the right timing. So we saw a lot today as well, and in that Tars game of they get the ball where it needs to go, when it needs to go. They don't wait that extra phase or two, and that's something that's a real trademark of their attack. Saw their maul really come to the party in the first 2 games, and just tight forward work. That especially showed in the wet last week against a really strong Waratahs team, where it proved to be the difference. They just did the simple things well over and over again.
And so strong, so consistent from the Reds too, particularly around their back starting to really click. But for the Western Force, I think of all the teams, you'd have to say they've had some incredible growth over this competition. Remember, they've turned around a 92-point loss in round 1, and they got the chocolates over the Brumbies and then put up a really solid second half here. What did you like about their progression through Next Gen?
Well, you could just see them grow in confidence, and they're making the right decisions, I think. A lot of them didn't come down to bad decisions, probably just not the execution, and that's the space where they'll really grow. I mean, you talk about the pathway that's coming through the Force, and I think a good example was in this game, Cruz Remy, his first real go of it. He makes a half line break, and then that decision to throw that offload at the end, which doesn't go to hand. The Reds end up 50 metres downfield. So just showing that they really have the skills, they've got the talent, they've got the one-on-one magic. They just need to kind of gel it all together and make it stick. But geez, they show a lot of heart, especially after that first round. They could have just thrown in the towel and been wiped the floor with for the rest of the game. But they made sure every time we counted them out in the commentary box, they showed up for that next try.
I did. No one, I think, epitomises that more than Johan Beercroft. What a game he had on the sting in a losing side to continually shut down a player of the quality of Nick Liner. Very impressive as you see the shake go up for the winning skipper, Tom Robinson. Just a little lift of the trophy as quickly addresses the team after their win. But he has been very impressive too. You mentioned his work rate around the gym, across the training paddock. He's certainly one to watch, and plenty more familiar faces coming through at the Reds level. I think it's just that next man up mentality that we're going to see out of Next Gen, and that's kind of what it's all about. These boys pushing towards under 20 selection, and I think, as we've mentioned off the top,
game time and coming into it fast and strong and ready, and also just combinations. We've spoken a lot in this Reds team around, Finn Mackay, Dre Pacquiao, Trayvon Pritchard, who didn't play today, Frankie Goldsborough, all those guys who now have good combinations. You're going to combine that with a really strong New South Wales side. The Brumbies and Force are going to have a lot of good players come into there as well. If you can build those combinations over the next few months after this game fitness, it's going to be a really good showing this year.
So there you have it. That's Super Rugby Next Gen's winner decided. It is the Queensland Reds. As you see the trophy go up there, they have taken out the title, 57-17. Emphatic in the Golden West. Lockie Gray and Liam Wright in the commentary box for you today. Stick around. Make sure you tune in tomorrow with Jordan Hughes and Rongers to watch the Waratahs take on the Brumbies. A great derby coming your way on Stan Sport and Rugby.com.au.